I'm Dr. Rich Hansen, founder of the Leadership Coaching Network, where our mission is to empower African leaders as agents of transformation for people, organizations, and society. In this video, I'll be talking about the 5 requirements to earn an International Coaching Federation coaching credential and how LCN allows people to move through all of those requirements, all the while being supported and encouraged and offered resources so that they can succeed. Hi, I'm Dr. Rich Hansen. I want to take just a few moments today to share with you the pathway to an ICF coaching credential that Leadership Coaching Network is now able to offer. Since we became accredited earlier this year in 2023 by the International Coaching Federation as an ICF accredited training organization. Let me share a PowerPoint with you and quickly go through it step by step. As we think about a pathway to an ICF credential, what we're talking about is a process of meeting the requirements that the International Coaching Federation has set up before they award coaching credentials. These requirements are difficult in some ways and certainly challenging. And that's because ICF is known worldwide as the gold standard of a coaching, training, and credentialing organization. They have over 30,000 credentialed coaches in over 140 countries around the world. And so they have very high standards, but when we meet those standards, we can have a credential that will open doors for us in all kinds of ways because it's known internationally. Let me walk through the 5 requirements very quickly. So the first one is 60 hours of coach-specific training. In other words, training that is founded on the ICF core competencies of coaching. And as you see on the slide, the requirement is that 30 of these 60 hours have to be with a live instructor present. The other 30 hours can be study on your own or working with a triad group, but without an instructor present. In the old way of preparing for a credential, you would take courses like, for example, offered by Coaching for Transformation, but then you would have to submit the proof of those with your application, and ICF would actually review those courses to make sure that they met their standards of instruction. Since LCN now has the level 1 accreditation, you no longer need to do that. Simply by fulfilling the 60 hours of training that Leadership Coaching Network offers through the Coaching for Transformation course, you are ready to go. The second one is 10 hours of mentor coaching. And this is because ICF is really concerned that people with an ICF credential actually develop good habits of coaching, that they develop a good coaching mindset, that they are using the coaching skills well and effectively. And so after the 60 hours of training, and after coaches have begun to gain coaching experience, ICF asks that they spend 10 hours with an accredited mentor coach to have both large group and one-on-one sessions to give them some personalized training and growth. And so as you see there on the slide, 7 of the 10 hours are done in a group of up to 10 people, and 3 of the hours must be one-to-one with the instructor, which is very personalized attention to detail. When I do mentor coaching as part of our level 1 pathway now, we do it in the large group by taking turns coaching one another and then offering each other feedback. And the 3 hours of one-to-one coaching actually are founded on coaching recordings that the participants bring to me, and then we listen to actual recorded conversations of them coaching someone so that we can zero in on ways that they are using the skills well, and maybe on ways that they can also improve. So once again, in the old system, the portfolio pathway, you would have to find a mentor coach and then submit their information with your application. Whereas a part of level one, that's included in the process. The third thing that level one includes is what's called the performance evaluation. So toward the end of the process, ICF asks that every applicant send them a recorded conversation of an actual coaching conversation that's somewhere between 40 to 60 minutes long. And ICF has a number of criteria based on the ICF core competencies by which they evaluate that conversation. And they either pass the conversation as meeting the ICF standards or they don't. And in that case, the applicant would need to submit another conversation and have a second one reviewed. Again, in the old pathway, you had to do this on your own and submit it to ICF, and then they hired someone to do that evaluation, where in the level one pathway that LCN provides, that's also included. And so you would submit your recorded conversation to LCN for that review. The largest of all of these is the 100 hours of coaching experience. And again, because ICF credentials really mean something, ICF will only credential people after they've had a significant amount of coaching experience. And so, as you see there on the slide, they have certain criteria. It must be with at least 8 different clients. 25 hours must be within the prior 18 months as you're submitting your application. And 75 hours must be paid, although any kind of small payment, taking you out for a cup of coffee, would count as payment. In both the old portfolio pathway and with level one, you simply move through those 100 hours. We will help you determine how you can record those in the way that ICF approves. And then you simply attest on your application that you have completed the 100 hours. And then the last thing is the ICF credentialing exam. So the way it works is, once you've accomplished those first 4 that I've just reviewed, you submit your application to ICF, and once they approve it, then the very last step after that initial approval is to take the credentialing exam. And again, no matter what pathway you're following, the exam is the same. It's administered directly by ICF, not by LCN. And you do that usually online, and there's a process by which you sign up online, and then at the exam date, you open a certain window and you take the exam for a stated period of time, and the exam is instantly graded, and as soon as you finish the exam, you'll know whether you passed or not. And so as we look at these 5 criteria, you can see that by having the LCN accredited umbrella, you're able to move through them effectively. And where this really makes a difference is in the application fees. So I've put those here at the bottom of this slide. In the portfolio pathway, where you're gathering up all of these different materials and submitting them to ICF, the fee is $475. The level one pathway fee is only $175, $300 less. And that's because since level one accreditation ICF has already approved all of the different things I've just talked about. There is no need for them to do a lot of detailed analysis, and therefore it's a lot less expensive to follow the level 1 pathway route. The application fees are less expensive if you choose to join ICF, but that very last line there is the really critical one, other than the cost, of course, and that is look at the time difference. When you submit your application through the portfolio pathway, again, because they have to do a lot more work in reviewing it and evaluating it. For example, they have to send your recorded conversation to someone who might take several weeks to evaluate it and send back the results. They say it will take 14 weeks on average between when you submit your application and when they approve it and you're ready to take the final credentialing exam. For the level 1 pathway, it's only 4 weeks. And oftentimes it's less than that. And that's, again, because they have pre-approved everything that a level 1 training organization is able to provide. And so it's a much smoother and cleaner pathway. All of this in details are on the ICF website in the link that you see on the screen. And so you're welcome to read that for yourself and check it out. The last thing I want to share with you, though, is a timeline, because it's important that we kind of see how these things fit together. The first thing is the coaching training. And so the 60 hours of coaching training in Coaching for Transformation, that's a basic course followed by an advanced course. That's where the credentialing process begins. We encourage at LCN that as you are beginning the advanced course, if you know already you're interested in working toward an ICF credential, that you begin earning your 100 hours of coaching experience then. Hopefully, the basic course gives you the basic tools that you will need to have a good coaching conversation with someone. And so even as you're beginning the advanced course, you can also begin to earn those coaching hours. And again, LCN will give you the tools, give you a format by which you can record those hours and so forth. The reason that's important is that by far the most time-consuming part of this credentialing process is the 100 coaching hours. And so the sooner you can get started on accumulating those, the sooner you can finish the process. It does take some work and some initiative to find people that are willing to be coached for these 100 coaching hours, because these are intentional coaching conversations. Someone has to agree with you to be coached and to agree to a coaching relationship in order for you to count that hour of coaching. About halfway through those hours, so somewhere around 40 to 50 hours, is when we hope to have the 10 hours of mentor coaching. And the reason we do that in Leadership Coaching Network is because you need to have a significant amount of hours of experience to make mentor coaching mean the most for you. You can just imagine if you're doing mentor coaching and you've hardly had any experience, in some ways, you're just beginning to develop your coaching style. You literally don't know what questions to ask because you haven't had the experience that will prompt those questions. And so at LCN, we suggest and we pretty much require that people have 40 or 50 hours, be at least halfway through the process, and then the mentor coaching will kind of supercharge your coaching experience, and hopefully that will allow you to finish the second half of those 100 coaching hours in an even better way. And so then at the end of that process comes the performance evaluation. Remember, that's where they evaluate your recorded conversation. The way we do it at LCN, because the mentor coaching is actual coaching experience, whether it's in a group of around 10, taking turns coaching each other, or whether it's the 3 hours of one-to-one coaching experience with me, we actually ask you to begin making recorded conversations, and that's what we listen to together for the mentor coaching. We suggest that you accumulate 5 or 6 or 7 good recorded conversations, which will allow you to choose the very best one to submit to be evaluated. And so we want to help you jumpstart, get that process going. And so all of our mentor coaching is built around coaching conversations to help you do that. And then, as I've already explained, once your performance evaluation, your recorded conversation is approved, you submit your application to ICF. Once they approve it, which they are almost sure to do when it's a level 1 application, then the final thing that you need to do is take the credentialing exam. At the ICF support group, we have, I think, an amazing way of helping you move through this process. Because let's be realistic, it will probably take at least 12 months or more from the time you begin a basic coaching course till you're ready to submit your application to ICF. Unless your work is such that you're doing a lot of coaching anyway in your work setting, it takes time to develop those 100 coaching hours. And so as you're doing that, when you join the ICF support group, we have a unique way to support you, and that's called triad groups. And so we have 3 coaches together who form a group and join together, meeting usually monthly, we hope monthly, either in person or online through a Zoom call or even a phone call, for mutual support and learning and encouragement. And these triad groups can do several different things. One of the best things is to actually continue to practice to coach one another, and even to record those conversations, which can eventually be used in the mentor coaching phase or even in the performance evaluation that I just described. And so having an ongoing process of professional growth through coaching one another and receiving feedback that's based on the ICF core competencies that we particularly focus on in the advanced course, these are all ways that the triad group helps you stay on track and continue to improve and deepen your skills. But beyond that, there are other things that you can do. You can watch recorded videos by professional coaches and then talk about what you've seen. You can read a coaching book together. And one of the other best things that you can do is spend some time just to encourage each other. And so a lot of our triad groups might even have kind of a social time where they share some food together or they have a coffee together, and they just ask each other, how are you doing? How are you coming on your coaching hours? How are you coming in preparing your conversation that's going to be evaluated? In a way, it's like running a marathon together. I've never run a marathon, but when we lived in Ethiopia, I ran in the Great Ethiopian Race 4 years. And so I have those 4 T-shirts from those races. And just being surrounded by all these other runners kept me going. If I had just gone off on a track by myself over 5 miles, I don't know that I would have kept running. But because I was surrounded by people on a course where there were people along the side cheering, and I felt kind of lifted up and carried along by this big crowd of people, I certainly didn't win any medals, although at least when I was doing it, they gave everybody a medal. So I guess I can say I got a medal. I certainly didn't win anything, but I finished every time. And I have to say that most of the time I actually ran. I will confess, occasionally I would stop and walk a little bit. But the point is, when we're running alongside of people, it's far easier to finish the race. And my hope for every single one of you watching this video is that if you are serious about earning an ICF credential, it's an important goal. It's a lofty goal. It certainly will make a difference for not only your personal coaching growth, but how you can transform and impact people and organizations and society around you, which is the mission statement for LCN. But it's also a great way to have some fun along the way. So it doesn't feel like you're just kind of carrying this weight on your shoulders all by yourself. And there are times when all of us get discouraged when we see those 100 coaching hours stretching out ahead of us, and it looks like we're never going to make it. That's when the relationship with our partners in our triad group really makes a huge difference. So as the African proverb says, that I'm sure most of you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The ICF support group is based on these triad groups. And right now, I'm talking to you in December 2023, we have 8 or 9 triad groups, all actively working with new ones continuing to be formed. And so you have a lot of company, and you have people who've gone before you who you can learn from. So if you're interested in pursuing and diligently this course toward an ICF coaching credential, which is the finish line at the end of the course, I encourage you to get in a triad group, seriously make a commitment to it, meet together once a month, encourage each other, learn together, practice your coaching skills. And I believe you are going to be the one who won't have just a little tin medal around your neck the way I did when I finished the Great Ethiopian Race. You will eventually have an ICF credential. So God bless you in this process. I'm glad to have the opportunity to share for these few minutes, kind of hopefully the overview of how this all works. And you will have many people around you in the ICF support group to cheer you on toward the finish line. All right. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you again, whether face-to-face in Ethiopia or online. And I just am so thankful to be a part of the process that God is doing in working the ways in which He is contributing to His kingdom through leaders who become coaches. Bye for now.